Moto Dork. Just look at this day. What a day. I can't believe that we're having so much okay weather. I mean, I know I've said it before, but we have really had about 4 months of rain, it feels like. I mean, we'll have like 3 or 4 days of rain and 1 day of no rain. Then 3 or 4 days of rain, then 1 day of no rain. Maybe 2 days of no rain every now and then. But for the most part, rain. Rain and rain. And cold. Rain and cold. And rain. Did I mention rain? I mean, it's just so nice to have a few days of look, there's our local star, right up there, I mean, look, blue skies. It's just so nice. It's so nice. I love it. But enough about that. We have important things to talk about. Well, they're not really important things. But I want to talk about them. I recently, and this will, like other things I've said in the past, this will clue you into what kind of a dork I am. I recently went to a pinball expo in Louisville, Kentucky. If anybody out there doesn't know where Louisville is, it's on this part of the state, so that should help. It was a Louisville Arcade Expo. Mostly pinball machines, but quite a few standard arcade games as well. Video arcade games, I guess I should say. People who own pinball and arcade games, they bring them as an exhibitor and they set them to free play, which, I mean, I'm sure they're already set to free play. At least most of them probably are. And you know, you pay one price to get in, and you can play them as much as you want. You know, of course, if there are other people playing them, you have to wait in line, obviously. Which I did. I waited in line to play some pinball machines. But it was wonderful. I mean, and I didn't know this, but there are a lot of brand new pinball machines being made. I knew that Stern for a while was the only remaining pinball manufacturer. But now I think there are some new manufacturers out there making brand new pinball machines. And there's one pinball machine that was there based on the Munsters TV show, if anybody remembers that old TV show. And it was beautiful, very detailed, you know, big screen on the back glass, you know, all kinds of animations, scenes from the TV show, so many ramps and I don't even know what you would call them, pathways for the balls to travel. And in the middle, below the playing field, was a tiny miniature pinball machine. So if you knocked the ball into a certain location under certain circumstances, it would activate this mini pinball machine below the playing field that you could see through a plexiglass, or maybe glass. I don't know. It could have been actual glass. And with miniature pinball, miniature flippers, miniature bumpers, and so forth. It was awesome. I played that. That was fun. I got to play Hyperball for the first time since the early 80s. I remember they had one at the Kentucky Arcade in Danville. Played it a few times. That was a very unique pinball machine. Not really pinball per se. Up here on the far end of the playing field were all these targets that light up, and if you and you have to hit them with pinballs, and if you don't hit them in time, they shoot lasers, which are indicated by a sequence of lights that come down to where your little gun is that you shoot the pinballs. Now, over here on the right is a queue of 40 or 50 pinballs, maybe waiting in line for you to shoot, and mounted on top of the pinball machine, in front of the glass, are two movable triggers. There's triggers on each one, and under the glass at the base of the playing field is a tiny little gun that shoots pinballs rapid fire, really rapid fire. You pull the triggers and it shoots them, and you try to hit the targets, and it's so fun, and it's very difficult. It is a pretty difficult game to play. Enjoyed playing that for the first time in 3 decades, I guess. No, almost 3 decades. Well, yeah, 3 decades. Over 3 decades. Tons of, vintage pinball machines from the 60s. Pinball machines from the 70s, the 80s, 90s. I mean, so many. There was a Funhouse, which is one of my all-time favorite pinball machines. Funhouse, played that. Lots of classic arcade games. There was a Dragon's Lair Laserdisc arcade game. You guys know I love Laserdisc. And I actually own a Laserdisc from a Dragon's Lair Laserdisc arcade game. And it actually plays in my Laserdisc player. But they had a classic Dragon's Lair arcade game in looked to be mint condition. Played that several times, and that was one of the first arcade games that charged 50 cents to play. So as a kid, I don't even know how many quarters I put in that game. They had one of those at the Bally's Aladdin's Castle arcade in Fayette Mall in Lexington. That was a gigantic arcade back in the back of the mall where the food court is now, and I'm sure none of you know what I'm talking about. Just lots of arcade games. There was Bagman. There was somebody brought a Polybius game, which isn't a real game. It's just a mythic game that never really actually existed. But there are some people who have made Polybius games kind of as an homage to the myth or a joke. And this game, every so often it would put a subliminal message on the screen that you just barely make out while you play it. So had a great time though. Looking forward to next year. Oh yeah. Oh, what is most likely the final Avengers Endgame trailer came out yesterday morning, and man, is it not much at all. And when I say it's not much at all, what I mean is it just like the last trailer, it doesn't really tell you anything, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine with me. I don't mind that. Really, coming into this movie, which is the culmination of 10 or 11 years worth of storytelling on Marvel's part through their own studio, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that's fine. The less I know going into this movie, the better. And this trailer, it doesn't really tell you anything. It doesn't really tell you anything, and that's fine. It reveals a bit more about Hawkeye and what he's been doing. Although, again, very little, but a bit more than the last trailer. You know, a few extra scenes of Black Widow, a few extra scenes of Captain America, and the big reveal in the trailer is the suits, the new suits that they are all wearing as they walk through Avengers HQ. And the general consensus among the fans is that these are, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, maybe, these are quantum realm suits. Who knows? I mean, Ant-Man's been there. He's been in the quantum realm. He knows what's going on. So maybe they're going to use the quantum realm somehow to find what I'd like to call a backdoor way of beating Thanos and stopping him from using, preventing him from using the stones. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's all very exciting. It's all very exciting. You know what I hate? I hate people on Facebook who just post things with no concern about whether or not they're true. They just post things and then they get mad at you for calling them out on their bull. I mean, come on. Come on. If you're going to post something on Facebook, at least take a modicum of time, a minute to Google it and find out whether or not what you're about to post is either true or pure shite. Honestly. And when someone calls you out on this erroneous post you made, don't get mad at them. Don't belittle them. Delete it and then thank them. Come on. I mean, we're not doing it to make you angry or to make you look more of a fool than you already look like for posting crap. But I mean, when you do that, you are spreading misinformation, and you are perpetuating ignorance and stupidity. And the comment button is there for a reason. And that leads me to my next topic, which is people who post things on Facebook, and then when you comment, an opposing view, they say something like, hey, this is my Facebook page, and I'll post whatever I want. You don't get to say what you want to say on my Facebook page. Well, buddy, the comment button is there for a reason. And if you're going to express your opinion, which I think is, not a good opinion, I'm gonna say something. Now, I'm not going to say it in a mean-spirited, condescending way. Most likely. I might. It depends. But most of the time, I'm not. You can't expect, when you have 300 friends on your friend list, or 500, or 1,000, you can't expect to post your opinions without hearing other people's opinions. The comment button is there for a reason. It's going to show up in my feed. I'm going to read it. I mean, it's just common sense. I like common sense. I'm a big fan of common sense. I'm a big fan of reason and logic. Sadly, some people are not. Hey, the light is green. Okay, light is green. The trap is clean. Couldn't see it. Sun's in my eyes. I'm wearing my smoke visor, but still couldn't see those lights very well. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I think I'm done. So I don't know if you're. I don't say a lot of things that are important, but if you've watched this and you've never watched any of my videos before, I have more. You can watch more videos, and they're just as exciting as this one. I promise you they are. And if you're not a subscriber, hey, you know, subscribe or whatever. That'd be awesome. I'd like that. Because I've kind of enjoyed having you around. Yep. So yeah, subscribe. Hit the little bell thingy. You know. So I guess I'm done. Later.